Well, hello everybody, my name's Louise Savage of Louise Savage Muses, and welcome to my channel. Very warm welcome back if you've joined me before, and a hearty welcome if this is the first time you have braved my musings. So I am sat in my library with my knees absolutely groaning. I've got this massive bag of books, and this is because I spent the weekend up with my son Simon Savage of Savage Reads, up on the Wirral, and we had a lovely time. He had a load of books that he'd got for me, so that's partly why this bag is bulging. But also we did go to Mould and visited a fantastic bookshop there, and had a lovely time, bought several books there. So I've got quite a few books to fill you in on. The first one I've already read, I know. And this is The Schoolhouse by Sophie Ward. I absolutely loved it. So if you've already seen my July reading vlog, you'll know all about it from there. Actually, this one might go up first, not sure. So anyway, it's called The Schoolhouse. It's by Sophie Ward. It's a thriller. It's pacey. I read it in 2 sittings. It covers 2 disappearances of young girls from school, sort of 30 years apart, it's fantastic female detective leading the investigation, a woman called Isabel who is kind of linked to both of those disappearances. So told from a lot of the story told from her perspective. She's deaf, so that's really interesting. All the issues surrounding signing and communication and the choices that she makes about how to do that. And just a really enjoyable portrayal of young people, actually, and the pressures on them and bullying and victims and whatever. So yeah, I really recommend this, and I'm sorry if you've already heard me rabbit on about that before. Then what else have I got in my bag? So from the same bookshop, what did I get? Oh, I've been meaning to get this for ages. This is After Sappho. This was long listed for last year's Booker prize, and of course it's got Sappho in the title, so it's a translation. I'm trying to remember because you know, those old grey cells get a bit confused sometimes. What language was it originally written in, or have I just got that completely wrong? Where are we? Longlisted for the Booker Prize, shortlisted for the James Tate Black Prize for Fiction. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it was written in English. The writer is called Selby, Wynn, Schwartz, so maybe that was why I thought it had been written in another language, but there's no reference here that I can see to translation, so I'm guessing that that's... Yeah. So yeah, it's 1895. Amid laundry and bruises, Rina Pierangeli Faccio gives birth to the child of the man who raped her, and who she has been forced to marry. Unbroken, she determines to change her name and her life. 1902, Romaine Brooks sails for Capri. She's barely enough money for the ferry, nothing for lunch. Her paintbrushes are bald, but she's sure she can sell a painting. Yes, that's one of the reasons I really wanted to read this novel, because I like, unlike my son, I love books that focus on art and painting and so on. Then we've got Virginia Woolf, we've got Sarah Bernhardt, we've got Colette, we've got all sorts of amazing female literary and artistic figures who seem to somehow surface in this book. It's described as a work of stirring genius by the Washington Post. So there we are. After Sappho, I, as I say, I've been wanting to get hold of that for a while. I just love the cover, the way it sort of vibes around ancient Greek black and red figure vase painting. I think the design is wonderful. Yeah, really looking forward to that one. And then it'll be no surprise to you, I'm sure, if you have been following my channel for a while, I have become absolutely obsessed with Max Porter, and so I have got hold of his... I treated myself to the hardback version and this, I think this is Shy is the story of a young boy. Yeah, a few strange hours in the life of a troubled teenage boy. You mustn't do that to yourself, Shy. You mustn't hurt yourself like that. Oh, he's wandering into the night, listening to the voice in his head, his teachers, his parents, the people he's hurt, and the people who are trying to love him. Oh, and he's described as a nutcase. So I think this is going to be wonderful. Hope so. I'm just going to put these down on the floor, otherwise I'm going to get totally overwhelmed by books. Charity shopping is a wonderful way to acquire books, and Simon and I were discussing C.J. Sansom because I've decided to take one of C.J. Sansom's Shard Lake novels to South America with me later this week. And Simon was telling me that Winter in Madrid was, he absolutely loved it. He read it some years ago and really, really enjoyed it. So I haven't read this yet, so really happy to pick this up. And this is the 1940s, after the Spanish Civil War. And Simon said that, you know, it's historical fiction. And he said that, you know, the scenes in this novel have sort of stayed with him for the years since he read it. It's also described as an action-packed thriller and a classic tale. So I am really, really looking forward to reading that. I'm probably very late to the party because I think this was a big hit when it came out. When did it come out? Probably a long, long time ago now. 2006. So what's that, 17 years. And then Simon very kindly gave me some presents. So what did he give me? So he gave me Kate Moss's The Ghost Ship, which I was really, really chuffed to receive. It's the final one of the Joubert Chronicles, which I have been rereading and absolutely loving. Is a murderer born, or is she made? It just says on the back. And I know famously this is a novel about lesbian pirates. So I am thoroughly looking forward to this. I think it's going to be an absolute romp, and I suspect when I get round to it I will read it very, very quickly. Beautifully glittery and sparkly cover as well. Now, I did not know about this, but Faber Stories have these wonderful little shorts landmark series of gem-like version volumes, it says. And inside this is a short story by Barbara Kingsolver, and I wasn't aware that she had a short story collection, so I was just really grateful to learn all about that. It's called Homeland. I don't think it tells you anything about the story on here, but I do know Simon said he'd read it and really enjoyed it. Okay, when Gloria's great-grandmother Greenleaf left her home in the Hiwassee Valley of Tennessee, it was with a man on a stolen horse. Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds like a romp. What else is in here? I haven't really had a chance to look at these properly. A Terrible Kindness. That's a oxymoron, isn't it? Joe Browning Rowe. So it's got lots of wonderful praise from Bonnie Garmus and Joanna Cannon, all authors that I really like. So that's a positive start. A novel of healing and hope. It's October 1966, and William Lavery is having the night of his life at his first black tie do. Oh, yes. So this is a novel about Aberfan, the terrible, terrible disaster in Wales when a coal slag heap collapsed and destroyed a school, and alongside lots and lots, and I think most of the children in the community were killed. So it's a novel based on the true story. So William obviously is somebody who steps in to act and try to deal with the awful disaster. Ooh, so I will need to be in the right frame of mind to read this, I think. And it's a debut novel. It's described as having exceptional promise. So there we are. I feel like I'm gradually tilting and sliding my way off my chair, sorry. Okay, what else is in here? Ah, now, lovely. The House with the Golden Door, Elodie Harper. Simon and I were lucky enough to interview Elodie over lockdown, and she was really good company. She was great. So I am a little bit behind. I've read, obviously, The Wolf Den, but I now need to read this one, which is the second, I think, in the trilogy, and I'm very much forward to doing that. So these are novels that are set in Pompeii. Amara has escaped her life as a slave in Pompeii's most notorious brothel. That might be a spoiler if you've not read the first one yet. She now has a house, fine clothes, servants, but all are gifts from her patron, hers for as long as she keeps her place in his affections. Ooh, ouch. So a lot of jeopardy for Amara there in that situation. At night, she dreams of the wolf den and the women she left behind. I'm sorry, it's getting gloomier and gloomier outside. Maybe if I sit up a bit and a bit closer to the camera, that might be a little bit brighter for you. Really sorry, I don't really want to turn the lights on though. In order to be truly free, Amara will need to be as ruthless as he is. So this sounds like a real sort of gladiatorial combat almost between a freed slave and her new master. Okay, what have we got here? Seeing Other People, Diana Reid. I've not read anything by Diana Reid before. Which comes first, those you love or those you want? After 2 years of lockdowns, there's change in the air. Eleanor has just broken up with her boyfriend. Charlie's career as an actress is starting up again. They're finally ready to pursue their dreams, relationships, career, family, if only they can work out what it is they really want. I wonder what that will be. So again, clash of characters, lots of friction, I suspect. It's described as a darkly funny story of two very different sisters and a summer that stretches their relationship to break apart. This sounds like a really good summer read. If I was going off in the car on my trip, I would definitely be bunging this in the boot as a standby for my holiday trip. Now this was really kind of Simon to get me this, because he knows how much I've wanted to get hold of this book. It's All the Wide Border by the wonderful, wonderful human that is Mike Parker. He wrote the fabulous book. My memory is going. Oh my goodness, what's it called? Don't tell me it doesn't say here. I should have. Oh yeah, On the Red Hill, that's it. Which is a wonderful story of a gay couple living in Machynlleth in Wales, and also a kind of love poem to the Welsh countryside. I absolutely adored that book when I read it last year. And this is about the English and Welsh borders. So it's non-fiction, and I live not very far from the English-Welsh border, so I know that I'm going to find this absolutely, nearly dropped it, absolutely fascinating. Of course, there's going to be castles, there's going to be Offa's Dyke, there's going to be churches, there's going to be all sorts of things in here. All the Wide Border is a personal journey through the places, amongst the people, and across the divides of the border between England and Wales, taking in some of our loveliest landscapes and our darkest secrets. This is a region of immeasurable wonder and interest. I would absolutely agree with that. And I know that Mike will really, really bring that to life in a wonderful way. So that was just fabulous of Simon to get me that. Claire Keegan, I absolutely loved her novella that came out last year again. Can't remember. Dear, this is not very, I mean, oh yeah, Small Things Like These. It's a good job they put these things inside the books, but I thought that was an absolute gem of a book. So I'm really, really looking forward to this. It looks like it's called So Late in the Day. Oh, it's on the front, author of Small Things Like These. But it looks like a short story. I suspect this is something that I will just read very quickly of an evening. After an eventful Friday at the Dublin office, Cathal faces into the long weekend and takes the bus home. There his mind agitates over a woman called Sabine, with whom he could have spent his life had he acted differently. Oh, sounds of shades of... Oh, I can't even remember that. Honestly, I don't know why I make these videos, because it's a wealth of misinformation or non-information. Remains of the Day, thank you. It reminded me, just there's something about that blurb that reminded me of Remains of the Day, which is one of my all-time favourite books. Another book that looks very sort of summery. That's clever, isn't it? So we've got a face. We've also got beach scenes here. The Misadventures of Margaret Finch by Claire McGlasson. Again, I don't know anything about this. It's Blackpool. It's 1938. Miss Margaret Finch has just begun work for mass observation when her path is crossed by Harold Davidson, the disgraced rector of Stiffkey, subject of a national scandal. That sounds brilliant. So yeah, I think I will enjoy that. That sounds like a summer romp to me as well. Although the font's rather small. That does put me off books these days, I'm afraid. But there we are. And what else is in here? Ooh, Carla. The very definition of a page turner. It says on the back, a thriller and a lot more. Roddy Doyle loved it. He said it was terrific. Well, that's good enough for me. This is a proof copy, obviously, rather a chunky one. Obviously something that Simon thought I would enjoy. Sometimes I think of who we were back then when she was with us. We were such a force. What happened to her? And what I love about this, and Simon and I were discussing this, is the way that the face of one of the, I think it's a boy, might not be, has been scribbled out. There's something really ominous about that. Does it tell me anything more? In the seaside village of Kinloch on Ireland's west coast, three old friends meet for the first time in years. They, Helen, Joe and Mush, were part of an original group of 6 inseparable teenagers in the summer of 2003, with motherless, reckless Carla Lannan at its hot white centre. Later that year, Carla disappears without trace. What happened to her? That sounds fab. I really like. I think having just read The Schoolhouse, I quite fancy reading another thriller before too long. I've forgotten how much I enjoy reading thrillers. So there we are. That was my fantastic, thanks to Simon, fantastic book haul for this month. And I need to go away and do some reading now, don't I? I've got lots on my hands here. But that's wonderful, isn't it? I feel very, very lucky once more to have such wonderful books to put on my shelves. Anyway, take care, folks. Well done if you've stuck with my witterings. I need to call it Louise Savage Witters, I think. If you stuck with my witterings right to the end, I need to go and cook the dinner now. I said I was going to do it about an hour ago. I'm going to make leek ragu. Yeah, so I've got to go and chop leeks, but that's, you know, that's quite a nice thing to do, isn't it? Slicing leeks. And they smell so wonderful when you're sautéing them. Anyway, take care, everybody, and speak to you soon. Bye.